morning, students. Welcome once again to Pedagogical Content Knowledge in Biology. Now we are at Unit 3 of the model, and now we are going to begin with Session 1 of Pedagogical Content Knowledge in Biology, which is Unit 3. And Unit 3 is talking about scientific inquiry skills. So we will begin with the practical skills, which is Session 1 of Unit 3. Now, these are the objectives for the session under practical skills. So, objective 1, I want you to be able to demonstrate manipulative skills using biology apparatus. Okay, and also after the lesson, I should expect that you'll be able to teach consciously. You as a biology teacher, you should be able to teach consciously. Now, we begin with the practical skills. Now, practical skills, when we say practical skills, what goes into that? So, practical skills involves demonstration of manipulative skills using tools, machines, and equipment for practical problem solving. So, in practical skills, the teaching of practical skills should involve projects, okay? It should involve projects, case studies, and field studies, where students will be intensively involved in practical work. And in each search for practical solutions to problems and tasks. Now, practical skills involves getting students to carry out investigation of natural phenomenon. Students should carry out investigation of natural phenomenon through which meaningful problems are answered and new knowledge obtained. So students are able to explore and manipulate the teaching materials to construct their own knowledge and understanding. In practicals, you expose students to real life challenging situations, and then you observe them whilst they observe, they manipulate, they construct. So you, the teacher, you shouldn't always involve yourself in the practical skills. You should guide the students whilst they are conducting the practicals. So you go to the laboratory, you want to test for food. You want to conduct a food test with your students. You will be a demonstrator. You first demonstrate one of the food tests. If you are testing for simple sugars, you demonstrate. And then test for protein, lipids, all those things you leave it to the students, and then you guide them so that they'll be able to go through the practicals. Some teachers are fond of all the time, they want to demonstrate. They will test for simple sugars, reducing sugars, then they will test for non-reducing sugars, and then they will go and test for all the practicals the teachers want to do it. So I always advise that as a student teacher, when you go to the field, you give room for students to also have a feel of practicals. So practical skills emphasize on hands-on activities and systematic collection of evidence using resources and tools in the diverse ways to study the natural world. So when you are conducting practicals, you use the resources available and then the tools available so that students will have a feel of real life situations. Now, experimental skills. Now, with the experimental skills, it involves demonstration of the inquiry processes in science and refer to skills in planning and designing of experiments, observation, manipulation, classification, drawing, measurement, interpretation, recording, reporting, and conduct in the laboratory field. So with this one, practical and experimentation skills refers to the psychomotor domain. The practical and then experimentation field refers to psychomotor domain. So a typical practical exercise at the senior high school level is either procedural. So the procedural, you want to confirm or check the relation between variables that are learned at the theoretical level. Okay, the relationship between variables that are learned at the theoretical level. So you learn the theory, then you go and what? Experiment. And then you experiment. So, like I said, a typical practical exercise at the senior high is procedural, where students are usually given the procedure that outlines the plan of the experiment, okay, materials to be used, and then the methods to what follow. So students go through that. You give them the protocol, they look at it. Say step 1 is saying do this, step 2 is saying do that, step 3 is saying do that, and students follow the protocols to conduct the experiment. Now, students are usually given the procedures that outline the plan of the experiment. Like I said, the student is expected to equip himself or herself with the experimental skills so that the biology teacher is expected only to provide few instructions on the problem and materials, okay, leaving the students to work out the procedure for the design and investigation based on cues that are provided in the problem to be solved. So you, the teacher, you have to give the student the procedures to follow and then conduct the experiment. So we have gone through two things: the experimental skills and then the practical skills. We've gone through the differences, what practical skill is talking about, what experimental skill is talking about. So I want you to review what we've learned by answering these questions. 1. How would biology students demonstrate manipulative skills in biology learning? 2. Differentiate between practical skills and experimental skills. Yes, you differentiate between that. So if you students can meet and discuss this question, it will be of help for you. So how do you meet? So you meet on any e-learning platform. It could be Zoom or Google Meet so that you discuss these questions.